Hi guys, welcome to Robin Hood Diaries again today. Thanks for joining me. Today was previewed as basically growing up in SAKS Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills, because I might as well have my own bedroom. So, just a little context, because I know that we've heard about Liz, my mother, ad nauseum on this show, and I really only touch on her if I have to. Otherwise, you have to read the books. I grew up, as I've mentioned, in Beverly Hills, ground zero across from Beverly Hills High, from 0 to 8 years old. My mom was fashion director of SAKS Fifth Avenue, so I'll try and really go into that. My mother was hired in 1960, and she left in 1970 for Bullock's Wilshire, which she didn't stay at for very long. So obviously she dictated fashion for the 60s, because Beverly, SAKS Fifth Avenue was really kind of the only game in town in terms of fancy department stores on the West Coast in Beverly Hills. And my mother, as fashion director, was not any kind of CEO. She was not a store manager. She was not a store director, nothing administrative. My mother was fashion director, which meant that nothing for 10 years went in those windows without my mother's approval. Nothing for those 10 years was on the floor of anything without my mother's go-ahead. So, of course, designers are always courting her. I grew up, around famous designers, Billy Trivia, Jimmy Galanos, Cardinale, I don't know, whatever. All by then, later on, like in the 70s, very close friends with my mother. In fact, she went briefly into business with one of the dress designers. But my mother was very well known. Now, she died a nobody, but in Beverly Hills, my mother was extremely well known and well liked. As I mentioned in the preview, she could charm birds out of trees. She ran, I guess, with a very upscale crowd. She would go like golfing with Bob Hope and his wife, and she was very friendly with Tina Sinatra, and these are the women that she dressed, and the store that was their go-to. So I knew the employees of this store as far back as I can remember, and if I had a nickel for every time one of those staff members, well into my 20s, said, "Oh, I remember you when you were in your mama's tummy." And I remember this and that and the other and whatever. Everybody, okay, in that store. I mean, there was no getting around it. I could not be incognito in that store without somebody identifying me as Liz's son. So sweeping influence at that time, so well loved by her staff and her clients. They were family. I knew them as family. Like, before I even know what an uncle actually really was, I had Uncle Bill Teeter, who ran the entire menswear department in SAKS Fifth Avenue. And this is like, my mom dictated fashion at SAKS from 60 to 70. So I only, I have memories of 70, 71. So let's say 6, maybe at the outside, as far back as I can remember, actually when she was an employee. But these people, like I said, Alexis, Chris, Uncle Bill, I didn't know. These were just family to me that my mom knew from work. Boy, did she ever. So my mom also innovated this program that was like an old, sort of dusty old program called the College Board. My mom didn't invent it, but she sort of refurbished it and brought it to Beverly Hills. Like I said, SAKS, the only game in town.